So good morning, Sushil. How are you doing?
Good morning, Rajiv. Good morning.
So thank you so much for coming on this particular event. It was lovely to talk with you early when we had conceptualized this particular event, and we're very happy to have you on board, Sushil. Before we get started, let me quickly introduce you to the audience. Good morning, listeners and viewers. Welcome back to the Leaders and Libraries event. We have yet another esteemed guest for the day, Mr. Sushil Tripathi. I have tremendous honor and humility to introduce this gentleman. He's one of the top HR minds in India. He speaks Sanskrit as a language and has got that unique ability to connect mythology, which is a great interest that he has, to management, and gives lessons to a lot of young budding leaders in India. He's also one of the top CHROs of the country, currently working as head of HR for Siyaram Silk Mills, an acclaimed author, a regular speaker. I keep seeing him in all the forums on LinkedIn. You would find him, those of you who know him regularly on LinkedIn. So we are very, very proud to have you for the event today. Good morning once again, Sushil.
Good morning, Rajiv. And how to begin with, because you have given such a wonderful and very powerful introduction. I feel I am very humbled and honored. You offered this kind of great opportunity, and personally, I feel this is going to be a great learning session for me also,
Thank you
because
so much.
I've been listening, learning, and hearing a lot about the importance of books and how you have been inculcating great insights from so many great books authored by, I would say, great expert on the subject, whether they are coming from leadership background or maybe motivational speakers. So actually, I learned a lot by getting this opportunity. So that's how I take or consider this opportunity.
Thank you so much. I think that was very good from your side, because the next 45 minutes is going to be a great opportunity for me to learn and listen to your experience, plus also more than me, the budding leaders who are in their own path of leadership journey would love to listen. How did this powerful book that you've picked up inspired you and helped you to become the leader that you are? And I think in the current context of the world where everything is very fast, seems to be very quick, multitasking seems to be a fact that many people think, though all of us know it's a myth. A human mind is not capable to multitask. With all these things happening around, and execution excellence seeming to be a very important element and a miss in many organizations, I think the book that you've picked up, Sushil, is a powerful, powerful book. And I must compliment and congratulate you that among all the leaders who have come till now, and I do not know about the rest of leaders, you are the first leader who has picked up this unique book, and I was so happy when I saw you selecting this book from the other books. Others have a tendency to talk about a lot of self-growth and leadership, but this is all about performance and contribution to the organization. So I'm very, very happy to introduce this book in a moment. Thank you so much for coming on. Let's get started with the first question. To tell me, Sushil, over the years that you are a maverick reader of books, spiritual, non-spiritual, management, that you spoke about when we interacted first, Sushil and books, books and Sushil, how are these connected?
So, very powerful question, I must appreciate. But when I see my career, I relate my learning, I find book and Sushil are synonymous. So people relate Sushil with books, where I worked or maybe at home also. Every time I get this credit, every time you are reading something here and there, why you spend so much time in books? Then I say, books are a silent teacher. They gives you so many learnings in times of, they just carefully impart so much learning, insights about the world, nature, insights about people, human being, history. So you take book from any field. It is full of learning, knowledge. You have to just listen carefully. So in the process, what happens, you become a great listener also.
Lovely.
Very important quality for a leader. So I always take book with me. So that's how I take this question.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much. Let me ask you. Over the years that you have been reading variety of books, and all those books are powerful books that has helped you become what you are today, as we are speaking for the day. Tell me, Sushil as a reader, how did it contribute to Sushil as a leader? The journey of reader to leader.
I al yeah, I always consider myself like a tiny plant, and book are like an important ingredient for the growth of a plant. So
Mm,
sometimes I feel books provide required light in the form of sun. So it exposes you to the world. It removes the darkness from your mind. It changes your thought process. Parallelly, it gives you air, it gives you water. So when I combine these things, light, water, and air, for me as a plant, it acts like a essential ingredient for my existence. So when I say my existence, so whatever I am, it is just due to these three ingredients. In just these three ingredients, so light, air, water. So it flows in my blood in the form of wisdom, in the form of insights, in the form of understanding people, in the form of understanding myself. Whenever I am alone, when I am depressed, whenever I am feeling very sad, I immediately take help of
mhm,
these books. So
mhm,
then they tell you ki why you are looking something outside. To
mm.
come out from this situation, you just go inside. You have to
Right.
go deep inside you. There you will find pearls of wisdom. Everything is there in yourself. You have to
Yeah.
just take a deep inside, take a deep breathe,
Mm.
take a deep sigh, and then I am relaxed. So that is
Fantastic.
the reason I always feel books are acting like a true mentor, coach, companion, life partner,
Mm.
brother, sister. So whatever I am in terms of relationship, in terms of my existence, in terms of thought process, actually it made me what I am. So that's
Fantastic.
how I consider books.
Very nice. I like the example with the plant, and I would want to extend this a little bit that you take them as air, water, sunlight, and I think the photosynthesis that happens inside you comes out in form of food for thought for many people where they listen to you across the forum. So keep doing that photosynthesis,
Yes.
keep feeding people. Thank you so much, Sushi, for doing that. Right. That takes me to the next interesting question is, among all the books, you picked up this powerful book called Eat the Frog by Brian Tracy. What made you choose this powerful book? For me, it has been one of the most simply articulated book, yet profound learnings across all the pages that Brian talks about. And I can tell this also, Sushil, that when I've been working with leaders across the years on ability to manage time, many people think time management workshop ये तो बहुत छोटी सी चीज है. इसमें क्या इंटरेस्टिंग है ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल लीडरशिप सिचुएशन लीडरशिप जैसी बड़ी बड़ी बातें कीजिए आई वुड लव टू कम एंड अटेंड द वर्कशॉप this man for 28 years did research only on something how do I make a human being effective in managing time. So tell me why this book.
So, Raji, you started with explaining about the current scenario,
Hmm.
pandemic. Everything is moving here and there with unprecedented speed and changes.
Hmm.
So, there is one statement written in this. So, first time when I was referring this book, so there was a beautiful line written. So, author talks about you can achieve anything in your life. You can achieve any kind of goal. Whatever you think aspires in your life is possible to achieve if you take the part of eating the frog. So
Hmm.
suddenly I got mesmerized. What exactly this is eating the frog? Because normally what happens just by seeing the frog, you start feeling very bad, very awkward. Then it created a great insight, great curiosity in my mind. And then I started reading this book. And then I
Hmm.
realized, oh, this is so powerful book, made your life so easy, so practical.
Correct.
I was not, these simple things are being missed out, was the reason I am not able to achieve my targets. So then I started practicing. I started with first uh, preface, introduction of this book, where
Mm.
the author clearly mentions success is predictable. Then it added more curiosity. And when I went through the book and introduction part itself, I realized, yes, this is the book that is going to change my whole life.
Mm-mm.
Because coming from psychological background or psychometric professional, I always consider myself DI personality. So
Mm.
D basically talks about a person who is least careful about planning, who just starts think without thinking what is going to happen to uh,
Mm.
in terms of results, future. So then I realized, oh, this is the reason I am not able to realize my full potential. And
Mm.
then I took some time to start practicing the principles suggested by Brian Tracy. And now I can say whatever I do, it is planned in advance. And I have started making habit of eating frog. When I say frog, so for me, frog is challenging task, big task, important task, and then my life is very easy. Otherwise, what happens in retail sector, you don't get time even to spare with your family. So
Yeah.
now at least I can say I am having enough time, enough mental freedom to spend on other important tasks. So that was the reason I chosen this book.
Beautiful, beautiful. As long as you're eating the frog, not literally, is fantastic.
Yes.
Right. I think it's a very powerful phrase. Some of the books, the title given by the author itself is so powerful. What got you here won't get you there. When I read the book first time, I saw the title. Another guest also was talking about that. The image on the cover of the particular book, where there's a ladder and a man is trying to reach the broken ladder, and the words as a title, it just pulled me, right? Like this, eat the frog. I mean, nobody would imagine a name like this, but it's so right. We keep sitting with that frog on the table and we keep doing a lot of other things, and wo piche hathoda marte rehta hai, ye khatam nahi hua, ye khatam nahi hua,
Yes.
ye khatam nahi hua, isn't it? Lovely, lovely. So I want to extend this conversation, which is very interesting. Uh, Today, in the world of management and the current organization that we are working with, and primarily this question I would like to ask you, Sushil, and request you to answer as an input to the budding leaders who are listening to you. Many of them come from premier institutes, great qualifications, strategies, etc. But the Japanese have always marveled and excelled in this particular phrase called execution excellence. And I come from a total quality management because I was leading learning and development for international business and domestic business of TVS Motor Company. I know the power of execution excellence. We would always shiver to make a presentation to a Japanese professor because he would grill us. कि execution batao. Step one, step two batao. Leave the strategies aside. For you and for the budding leaders, why execution excellence is so important?
See, Rajiv, if you cannot execute anything, then there is no point of talking that particular subject. So you rightly talked about strategy. So you know the fact almost in more than 80% cases,
Mm.
strategies are a big failure. So what happens? So you talk a lot, you make yourself busy here and there, you make great presentations, you involve your team in making presentation, Excel sheets, so many data captured, but at the ground level, nothing comes out. So
Mm.
finally, organizations are concerned about certain kind of achievement, execution. So execution is translated into certain, uh, I would say, visible objectives, visible targets. So if that is not happening, value is not getting generated. Take very simple examples.
Mm.
So we can talk a lot about great HR practices, empathy, emotional connect, but if organization is not making money, there is no cash flow, then what are the options left in front of the promoters? They will definitely sack you. So they are going to cut headcount, they are going to reduce salary, irrespective of all good talks, leadership talk, or X or YG kind of
Right.
motivational theories. You can expect they need to be very emotional, empathize with the situation, but what they will do. So that is the reason I say if execution is not there, rest of the things are just a talk. It is not a parliament where you can discuss so many things, but at the ground level, situation of country is not going to change. So executions are very important. And why is not happening? Because most of the time we don't translate strategy or game plan in numbers, in yardsticks, in clear-cut, well-defined goal, measurable yardsticks, or measurement is not there, then how you will measure you are performing? If numbers are not there, grades are not there, what would be the parameters to
Correct.
differentiate among people? What would be the criteria to say, okay, you exceeded well, or you did well, or you passed with A grade or A plus grade? So execution or result at the ground level should be there. And probably that was the reason this book beautifully talks about achievement is most important than activity.
Absolutely. Very,
Yes.
very beautifully said. I would want to bring an input to this conversation. Uh, World War II ended and Japan was finished, 1944, 43, 45, right? I don't think we ever imagined the way the country would bounce back within a couple of years. And the way they did this was surely because of execution excellence. I'm sure there would have been great strategies, but execution, because it didn't take 20 years for them to bounce back. It just took a couple of years and they came back as one of the superpowers. And everything was vanished off the ground of the planet for them. It is not कि थोड़ा यहाँ hit हुआ, थोड़ा वहाँ hit हुआ, सब कुछ खत्म. That's a great example. Another inspiring thing for me is Singapore as an example, right? A country which was the hub of drugs, warlords in Asia was transformed by the founder, and today it's a standing example. It's all just
And
because
to
of
add,
excellence.
and to add two more examples here that will suffice actually your logic only. India is having lengthiest constitution in the world. But you know, the crime rate or the execution level in terms of ensuring law and order, if you compare with UK, where there is no written constitution, but you can compare the situation of India and UK. And I always tell on a lighter mode, India is the only country where God took 9 times birth. But we are still at the same level of thought process. So why it's so? Execution didn't happen. In Europe or maybe in Asia, one Muhammad, one they transformed their entire life because they emphasized on execution part. That is the uh, very
Beautiful.
powerful examples to it or to support your thought process.
Beautiful, beautiful. I've never thought from that 9 times Janma of the Lord. It's a very lovely one. Let's wait for the 10th one, and I hope by the time the 10th one, the Dashavatar happens, I hope we reach a different level of execution excellence. Right? Interesting. So tell me, another thing that Brain Tracy talks about, for leaders, accomplishment is a very important thing, right? What does accomplishment do? It motivates you, it gives you an impetus, it pushes you to do better thing. It also tells you that you are capable and gives you a lot of confidence and courage from within, right? But Brain Tracy makes a shift in the head and says it's important to focus on activities, not on accomplishments. Isn't it against the concept of motivation? What's your take?
See, every reader or every author has its own perspective. I personally believe context is very important to decipher the core meaning of the statement.
Okay.
So when Brian Tracy emphasized on the importance of activity over achievement, so basically he was trying to put more focus on intent part. So normally what happens, if you are most of the time concerned about the results, so by hook and crook, you will try to just achieve the targets, fulfill your goal sheet, KRAs, but finally that is not going to serve the core purpose. If you are clear, ki, okay, because what I also feel, and like you started with, I take examples from our own Indian scriptures. So Bhagavad Gita beautifully talks about, and when Lord Krishna says, Karmanyadhikaraste ma phalesu kadachana. So basically, he is trying to tell you only the karma is in your hand. Results are not in your hand. And if you are concerned about the results, so normally at the practical level, what happens? Suppose you perform one activity with the objective of achieving X output or X results. There are three possibilities. One, you get desired result, whatever you had expected or planned, you get exact result, same kind of result. But it also happen, sometimes you get results which were not expected or were completely opposite to initial thought out plan. And third possibility, you get results in completely changed form. So to make it more simpler, you'd have seen or read many times in newspaper, a family plans to visit a holy place. So purpose was to pay respect to the god, but what happens in the road, they get an accident and entire family loses their life. Then what happens? People start talking about भगवान में क्या है, भगवान के पास पावर नहीं है, वो तो पूजा to avoid or to make you away from this kind of awkward situation, because there are certain things which are beyond your control. You cannot have full control on those exigencies. So like COVID, no one had expected this is going to happen. And if you were just concerned about achieving your targets, goals, then what will happen? Finally, you will have a feeling of distress, anxiety, fear. So a lot of negativities will surface in your personality, and you will be a different person altogether. So
Right.
that was the background. Brian Tracy focused on the importance of activity. So if it is in line with your thought process, planning, then might be you can not get result immediately, but in the long run, yes, you are going to get your result, provided you persist on the chosen path and chosen target. So that he was trying to convey.
Lovely, very, very nicely brought in the Bhagavad Gita example here. It's no activities and nothing but karma, right? It's just doing the task, finishing task one, task two, task three. कि उसके बाद is it via whatever comes, we'll always take it and taste it, right? Very nicely brought in. I think it makes tremendous sense as I'm listening to you, Sushil. I'm thinking it is so important to not reach a point of boredom, isn't it, when you are focused on activity? Sometimes we may find it so transactional कि यार हर कुछ तो कर रहा हूँ, but इसका आगे क्या होगा पता नहीं, but कर रहा हूँ. That could be a bit of a negative puller from you to stay at it.
Yes.
Activities, like you said, being persistent, isn't it? So very important. How should one motivate himself to stay at the activity level?
See, we'll take example from this book itself. So Brian Tracy has beautifully mentioned or given an example. He says, you have to be like cheerleaders of yourself. So you have to practice to be a coach who talks positively about yourself on a daily basis. So what he was trying to tell us, he was referring, whatever happens in the environment, you have no control on that. So instead of cribbing about, oh, ye ho gaya, ho gaya, you have to focus on things which you can control, on the situation where you have or you can influence. So instead of outside, you have to focus inside. So you have respect yourself. You have to give, I reward to yourself in terms of, okay, I can do it. So in the process, what is happening, you start respecting, you start loving yourself. Then what will happen, whether you get desired result or not, you will be always charged up. You will be always energized. You will be always having positive attitude to achieve your goals,
mm,
because persistence, commitment, conviction needs to be there. And that was the reason it is very important. You have to find out
okay.
inner drives to charge up yourself.
Mm,
Otherwise, situation outside from you is very challenging, beyond anticipation. Real VUCA is happening. So you cannot predict what is going to be there in the future. So what is in your control? You have to increase your immunity system. You have to increase your health and mental well-being. So holistically, you have to motivate yourself. Every
mm,
time you get opportunity to motivate yourself. So that is the reason I always believe. And practically I have experienced, you
mm,
might be demotivated with remarks of someone, okay, you are not capable of doing X thing or Y thing. So I always take example from Indian scriptures. So
mm,
there is a powerful character, Padini. So
mm,
if you have heard about Padini, so Padini was a great, uh, initially he was not having fate line in his palm. So someone suggested, Ki Padani, you cannot become a great person or a great educationalist because you have no fate line in your palm. So what he did, he created that line with a knife. So that was the reason there is a slok written on Padani, Karat Karat Abhyas ke Jadmati Hot Sujan. So what I'm trying to tell you, if you are not motivated intrinsically, you cannot find motivation outside. So
correct.
that's how you have to continuously motivate, charge yourself, and find out reasons within yourself. So you have to find the core purpose of your life. So, like Simon Sinek talks about why.
Mm,
So you have to find out your why, and why cannot exist in the external environment.
right.
It has to be within yourself.
Correct.
Sometimes you might to transform the lives of other, like this kind of initiatives you have taken. So actually, with the help of these powerful books, by summarizing these books in 45 minutes, actually you are translating 30 years of experience in simple words to so
Mm,
many
mm,
viewers.
mm,
So that is the purpose.
mm,
So that purpose doesn't need any external support, any external motivation. It
mm,
will automatically keep you motivating,
correct.
because finally, if you are able to change the lives of even two people,
Yeah.
they will give due respect to you. They will offer all kind of regard, and then they will feel that due to Rajiv or due to this book, my life is changed. So
Right.
that's how I feel. You have to continuously strive for motivation.
Lovely. I think you brought this beautiful connection between uh, activities and why. So if somebody looks at the activities as just a transactional thing, you may get bored of it. But if you look at it as efforts towards achieving the final why or the purpose, I think you will stay at it and you will keep doing it because you know that eventually मुझे मेरा why का जवाब मिल जाएगा, मुझे मेरा purpose achieve हो जाएगा. I think
Yes.
that's a very nice insight of connecting these two. Lovely, lovely perspective. Um, Brain Tracy talks about a very interesting concept called creative procrastination. मुझे जब ये फ्रेज मैंने जब पढ़ा तो मुझे बड़ा अच्छा लगा. I said यार मैंने कभी ऐसा सोचा नहीं है. Procrastination was always with a negative connotation in my head. जब मैंने इसको पढ़ा I said यार ये तो बहुत अच्छा सोच है. There is a positive connotation given by him. How did you work on this, Sushil? Being and following creative procrastination. Explain that to us.
See, Rajiv, let me accept the fact that I was also not following this practice.
Mm,
Uh, Almost 2-3 months back, when I read this book first time, so like you mentioned those example, I was also not aware about this creative procrastination. So naturally, when I read this book, I related with my day-to-day working at workplace or maybe at home. And I realized, yes, world is full of plenty. There are so many responsibilities, and we are tempted to adopt a shortcut. And mind is actually evolved with that logic. So it has gone through with so many sufferings, challenges in the life. Now it always follows a simple shortcut method where it saves a lot of stress, energy, and that's how we are evolved as a
Correct.
human being. So I was also following shortcuts, but that temptation was there. यार delegate कर दो ये काम उसको इसको दो, and then just take a rest at the here. But then I realized, yes, in the process what is happening, I am digressing with the core objective of the organization, my life.
Beautiful.
I am not getting much time because just 8 or 30 minutes you have at your disposal,
Yeah.
and there are so many things: work life balance, your personal life, health, yoga, COVID, so many things are there. But then when I read this creative procrastination concept, I understood, yes, there are few things which can be easily outsourced, which can be delegated. Why to micromanage? That is the biggest challenge in front of leaders also.
Correct.
In the name of getting involved or aware or updated about everything, we have tendency to get or start practicing of micromanaging. So that takes you away from the core goal. And when I read this creative procrastination, I thoughtfully, cautiously realized, understood my day-to-day activity and allocated or identified few activities which were very important. And when I started focusing on those work, I started contributing more. I started getting more time. I started getting more opportunity to spend with my family. So this creativity was great in terms of helping me out to segregate my works in important, non-important, value-adding, non-value-adding, what is more important, why we are working, why we are giving 8 or 30 minutes at the office to make our family happy. And if we are not going to get that time, what is the use of earning money? So with the help of this concept, I was able to get more time to spare with family, more time to spare on my hobby, to spare more time in interacting with friends, colleagues. So these started adding value in my life. I started becoming more happier person, more productive person. So that's how I, relate this
Lovely.
creative procrastination.
Lovely, lovely. In fact, I also would like to share an experience. The 2 by 2 quadrant of urgent and important that all of us have been seeing for many years. एक समय के बाद it made sense to me, but there were certain areas where I had my own questions. कि ये 2 by 2 quadrant doesn't seem to go down my thought process fully well. I have my own doubts on the concept. But this book and this creative procrastination kind of cleared off all that cobwebs in my head. Now I understand what is procrastination and what is creative procrastination. This difference I completely understood. I think it makes tremendous sense. It makes life so easy, isn't it? There is enough and more on the table, yet you don't feel cluttered. That thing that place this thing this place clear hair. And Viktor Frankl talks about the fact that the first thing when you do in the morning is make your bed. जब हम लोग बिस्तर बनाते हैं तो सब कुछ अच्छा शुरू होता है. And I was always thinking, जब मैं छोटा था, my father would say कि बिस्तर से उठ के मत आना, चद्दर मोड़ के तकिया और के ठीक से रख के कवर करके आना. And you're a young boy, right? You're so lazy and tired to get up in the morning, and you're asking me to do this task. But when I read this from Victor, I realized what our father was saying, exactly what Viktor Franklin was saying. When you make the bed, you start the day with everything set, and you feel, हाँ सब ठीक है, tidy है, day is going to be good. It's not cluttered, it's not messy, isn't it? Great learning. Great learning. Superb. I'm going to ask you to explain a concept that Brain Tracy talks about, the law of three. In the book, tell me, why do you strongly recommend, as an accomplished leader, that the budding leader should follow this law of three?
See, this principle is very simple but very practical. And why I am suggesting or referring this practice to be adopted in day-to-day life, though we have seen at the corporate scenario where we talk about key result areas. Normally, people have been advising key result areas should be very simple and limited to just three, four heads should be there. But what was happening? We had been ignoring these important aspects. But when Brian Tracy put focus on these three important things, he gave a beautiful example. Then it got reinforced in my mind that there are 90% achievement, contribution, value addition in your life if you just focus on three key important priorities, three key important tasks. So when you focus on three things, so like he start with the uh, first question, what is the most important thing if you are getting opportunity to do something today? You are going to get maximum result out of this particular activity. So by this activity, if you are able to find out just three important tasks in your life, it is pretty sure you are going to achieve 90% of your results. And he relates it with practical examples by telling us 90% contribution if you are making, definitely you are a high performer in your organization. Definitely you are going to increase your contribution and accordingly reward, promotion, everything you are going to get in your life. And he further takes it to the level where he talks about the importance of work-life balance, right kind of balance in your life by emphasizing if you are focused on three tasks, definitely you are going to save much of your time. You will remove a lot of unwanted stress, unwanted pressure from your life, and you will be a completely relaxed and a happy person who is going to definitely contribute to the society, or you will be getting time to self-actualize your needs. So that is the beauty of these three principles, these three mantras of success in life. So very simple, very practical. And what is the most beautiful thing about this Eat That Frog book? Whatever Brian Tracy talks about, it is pure practical. And it is related with your personal productivity. It never talks about how you have to behave in a team or what you should do as a leader or what you should do in a group setting. So it gives you all onus of making your life beautiful in your hand. So now you are the master of your life. So that is the reason I recommend or I loved a lot when I read this complete book.
Absolutely. You're very right. It makes you personally a very productive person. And if that happens, then it will be visible in your contributions, whether it is to the team or to the organization or family or whichever sphere of life that you are wanting to improve upon, right? I mean, we know that, the wheel of life concept. Every spoke is very important for the wheel of life to keep rolling smoothly and successfully. I think
And
this, yeah.
one more thing, Rajiv, which I feel, Brian Tracy has rightly related important thing with value adding activities.
Right.
So value addition in terms of contribution. So he rightly says if you are adding value, if you are contributing something, it is very visible, transparent, it is an objective. There is no subjectivity involved. So if you are adding value in the system, if you are adding value in the society, if you are contributing something, there is 100% chances or guaranteed that you are going to get your desired results. Get name, you will get fame, you will get prosperity, happiness, everything is going to be on your mercy, at
Right,
your
right.
feet. So you are going to get everything. So that is the best part of this three
Beautiful.
mantras or success mantras of this book.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for bringing that alive. One thing that he also talks in the book that I'm going to talk about. Maybe some of the youngsters listening may not like this, but guys, this is not my statement. This is Brian Tracy's statement. So let's listen to what Sushil has as an interpretation to this particular statement. He talks about technology as a terrible master. I thought this was a powerful phrase. Sushil, your input to the young
So
budding
Rajiv,
leaders.
Even I have experienced this thing in my life, and still I am passing through with this challenge. So I have so much addicted with this technology or maybe WhatsApp. You will not believe. Almost 9 months back, I wake up in the night approximately 3:30 or 4 a.m. in the morning as per Indian tradition. And then what I do, I just check my WhatsApp, I just check my LinkedIn updates, I just
Oh,
check my mails. Then I realized, boss, what I was taught from childhood, this is the time when if I would have reminded of God, if I would have taken a name of God, actually मेरा जीवन बदल गया होता.
hmm,
Then I really felt very bad about myself. Oh, I have become so addicted. It has
hmm.
become like a drug. I
Oh,
am not able to even take my life without this mobile, WhatsApp, or LinkedIn. So it is acting like a drug.
hmm,
Now what is happening, you cannot expect your life without these tools. Your kid, your wife, everyone is busy in their WhatsApp.
hmm.
So many things they are doing, and what is happening, you are on the same bed with your family, wife, kids, but wife is using her phone, kids are using their phone. So finally what you are going to get, the intent or the objective of these technological tools were to improve the quality of your life,
Right.
to make you connected, to improve the speed or agility of your life. But what is happening? We
Hmm.
are living in the same room, on the same bed, but we have become so far away from each other. So
Correct.
a kind of distance has been generated, which we are not uh, putting attention or giving attention on that. So
Hmm.
basically, what is happening, in your birthday, you get 1,000 birthday wishes on LinkedIn, Facebook, but in your family, there is no one to say hi, hello, okay, stay blessed, dear. Why it happens? Because technology has taken all the valuable time
I
from
agree.
you.
I
Instead of giving time and making phone to your family or your father who is at native place to check his or her health, how you are living your life, you are just messaging hi and then getting response. And also at a practical level, you see, when you write something on WhatsApp, which kind of language, which kind of communication style has
hmm.
suddenly emerged and it is being accepted. You
Yeah.
can ask with all these young people to write an essay, maybe of 100 words. I guarantee out of 100 students, there would be 90 students who are not able to write 100 words, maybe on a single plain paper. So that
Correct.
is the biggest thing. So instead of becoming servant or helping hand or supporting tool, technology has taken a big toll on our life. We have actually forgotten our essence of our life. So we talks about be human, but what is happening? You will be surprised to see whenever even you get a post on someone died, people just like on LinkedIn instead of commenting that okay, it is very sad or bad.
Hmm.
Technology actually has changed their mindset. They are
Correct.
not able to relate, they are not able to analyze, they are not able to synthesize, they are just cluttered with unwanted things. So I usually advise
Hmm.
use technology to the level, to the degree where actually it helps like a catalyst, like an agent to improve your life.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
should be work like a helping hand. It
Hmm.
should work like a servant, not like a master. So
I
that is
agree.
my advice.
I agree. I mean, it's a very powerful example. Thank you for uh, taking the courage and being humble to share that 3 a.m., 4 a.m. ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में बहुत कुछ करना चाहिए लेकिन ब्रह्म मुहूर्त में आप टेक्नोलॉजी में फंस गए तो which is a great lesson for all the youngsters. That's the time to probably pray, that's the time to meditate, that's the time to go do some exercises as against getting into technology. So young leaders listening to this particular chat here, my friends, somebody like Sushil, who's an acclaimed leader himself, says 9-10 months back he was battling with this, which means most of us are. But I would very strongly recommend, guys, as he said, keep it only as a servant tool, not as a master that is taking over you or completely eating you off like a dinosaur. I think that's a very powerful learning. Thank you, Sushil. That takes me to the last but one question. What are the two key and laser focused advice that you would like to give to the listening leaders from this book? Two laser focused learnings.
So, one, you have to be able to identify
Mm,
what makes you happy. In the process, you have to be able to identify value adding activities in your life,
mm,
important tasks. So you have to identify your frogs. So
mm.
instead of looking tadpoles, you look to find out your frogs. It
Right.
might be challenging initially, but in the long run, it is going to transform your life. And like Brian Tracy rightly puts, if you are able to eat your frog, you can achieve whatever best is possible in the world, whatever you imagine, whatever you are aspiring, whatever potential there is within your personality that is going to come out on the surface. These are the two important things which I would convey to
Lovely.
my
Thank you.
leaders.
Thank you.
And to add one more thing on your initiative, because it is an amazing initiative, and I relate with a powerful Sanskrit shloka on the importance of the reading books. I don't know how many of listeners, viewers, or including leaders will accept this fact. Like earlier, also, we were discussing, we have forgotten our past lineage, legacy, and that is the biggest challenge. We
Right.
are still laggard. So I read one powerful sloka there, Vidya Bhogkari Asti Yasah Sukhkari Bhavati. I repeat, Vidya Bhogakari Asti Yasah Sukhkari Bhavati. So if I translate it in English, it says knowledge offers enjoyment. Knowledge offers enjoyment, fame, and auspiciousness. So to sum up, if you follow the path advised by Rajiv's this initiative, so I will relate Vidya and its practical output. Vidya is going to be a bhogakari. So it is going to offer
Mm,
enjoyment. It is
mm.
going to offer fame. It is going to offer auspiciousness. So whatever you are going to aspire in your life, just Vidya is having that capability to fulfill your dreams. So again, going back in my childhood, पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो
बनोगे
बनोगे नवाब. Will
नवाब.
not.
Absolutely, absolutely. The famous
Thanks
shloka,
a lot,
"Yat
Rajiv.
Jati patratam patratvam dhanamapnoti dhanadharmam tatassukham." Such a lovely phrase, which is what you just said in a different shloka. the end word of the shloka is Sukham, and the start word of the shloka is Vidya. So look at the chain. The continuum is Vidya finally helps you to reach Sukham, which is happiness, which is what all of us want, right? So I think great talking to you, Sushil. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for articulating your thoughts so beautifully. It was such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajiv, for giving this wonderful opportunity. I am equally humbled, honored, and definitely will expect more in the future. So thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you sometime as things open up post COVID. Things are seeming to be better. Till then, wish you good health. Wish you all the very best. See you
Thank you.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.